And on that farm he had chicken.
What's going on, y'all? It is your man, Demetrius Tollfree, and you are tuned in to Shop Talk, everyone's favorite show right here on everyone's favorite network. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because of today's opening song. I don't know if you got a chance to really pay attention to the lyrics, but that was Jaden Arnold from Atlanta, Georgia, with his version of Old MacDonald, the churchy version of Old MacDonald, and that song always makes me laugh. Anyway, welcome everybody to today's show. We are glad to have you hanging out with us, and it's going to be another great show. It's another day's journey, and I am super duper glad about it. Listen, if you didn't know, my name is Demetrius Tollfree. It says so right there on the screen. For those of you watching us live, you can always follow me everywhere at D Tollfree, at DTOLEFREE. That is on Facebook. That is on Instagram, Twitter/X, if you use it. It's also on all the places where you find social media. I can't remember everything. But listen, I'm glad to have you hanging out with us. Before we do anything, before I bring up any co-hosts, you know what you got to do? You got to do me a favor. And that is you got to get on the phone, call, text, tweet, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, Social Cam, Periscope, Marco Polo, whomsoever it might be, Threads, whatever it is. But you know who you got to tell. That's right. Tell your mama and them, Ray, Shay, Day, Delicious Nim, Nut, Nim, Pojo Nim. Let them all know that we are live right now on the Shop Talk family of networks. And we are glad to welcome those of you who are watching us live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as our radio partners that might be listening on some of the syndicated stations where we now air every week. I am super glad to have you hanging out with us. Listen, we've got an incredible show lined up for you. Let me give a couple quick shout outs and then we're going to jump into today's show. I'm still laughing at the EI. Oh, anyway, shout out to Cambria Mayfield, who is already in the building on YouTube. Tracy J. Wilson, shout you out as well, hanging out with us as well. David Jones in the building, hanging with us on Facebook. We also have Ashley Monet in the building. What is going on? We also have my bro, David Logan from Marin City of California, United States of America. He is also in the virtual building. And with him being in the building, I don't find it strange that my friend, the doctor, Maggie Winter, also in the virtual building today. We are glad to have you hanging out with us. Now, let me just give you all a quick heads up. Uh, Shop Talk is moving. Normally, I would have a commercial and all that kind of stuff. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. But let me just give you a heads up. We are moving. We are changing days in 3 weeks. So officially on November the 13th. November the 13th. That is a Wednesday. We are moving from Tuesday to Wednesday. Same time of 10 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll still do it at the same time on the same destinations, but we are moving from Tuesday to Wednesday. So I'll remind us every week as we start moving closer to it, but just wanted to let you know. And you probably say, why are you moving? Well, I do have a job outside of this, and my days off are adjusting to different days off during the week. So starting Wednesday, November the 13th, that will be our new day for this next season. All right. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be great. We'll still have great content. Actually, we're going to be starting to have more great people to interview, more great artists that'll be joining us, business owners, all these type of things, and we'll continue to do it right here on your favorite network of FDR Shop Talk. Speaking of FDR Shop Talk, if you have not had a chance to follow us yet, you can do that as well on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Again, if you use it, all things are at FDR Shop Talk, at FDR Shop Talk. If you follow us, we'll do our best. We'll follow you back, and we're working hard to make some more great content specifically for Instagram, specifically for our Facebook page as well. We want to do all that we can to bring you the best, not only just in gospel music, but keep you abreast of what is hot and happening in the news. All right, y'all. With that said, let's get ready to bring up our first co-host today. Hanging out with us out in Charlotte of North Carolina, fresh back from a 3-day tour of her home city or hometown of Denver, Colorado. Had an incredible event over the weekend, and somehow she has made it back to Charlotte to be with us today. And I am super duper glad to have her hanging out with us. So let's bring her up without further ado, my homegirl and yours, the creative designer behind the Freedom Radio brand and so many other things that happen around here. This is my homegirl and yours. Don't call her sis, but it's Yolanda Wild Praise Morant. Yolanda, girl,
Hey,
going on?
what's up? How you doing?
All is well. How about you?
I'm good. Tired,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
got
So
to
you know
make it.
what? But before we jump into the show, you had an amazing weekend,
I
Friday,
did.
Saturday, and Sunday in Denver, Colorado. Bring us up to speed on what exactly happened.
The short version is we wanted to go back to Denver. Myself, my friend Alan Young, and Pastor Ron Fontenot, who still currently resides in Denver, and we wanted to do. We did a 3-day praise and worship, praise, prayer, worship, and honor event called Revival Fire, the Resurgence, and it really we just wanted to come back to Denver to honor the city through prayer, praise, and worship, right? And so I will say this: my friend Alan always has this saying that we make plans and then God destroys them. And somebody that may not make a lot of sense, maybe, but we definitely had plans because I believe you should plan. So we definitely planned, and then God definitely destroyed our plans. I mean, we had songs that we had meant to sing that didn't get sang, or one moment that I just thought was really cool was when we had Pastor David Wilford, where some people may know him from Sunday Best. He resides in Chicago. He pastors in Chicago, and he does kind of like the vamp part of When the Saints Go to Worship by Donald Lawrence, and his voice is just incredible. And so I personally wanted to hear him sing that, and it was on our set list just in case it happened, and he didn't know that was there. He wasn't aware of any songs we had planned or anything like that, and then it just happened on its own. I mean, literally, it was the most craziest moment. So it's weird. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be this certain thing, But I think people got what they needed in a place they didn't know they needed it. And so for that, I'm very, very grateful. And shout out to my friend Alan and Pastor Ryan Fontenot in Denver, and all our parts. But it was just it was amazing, if I'm very honest. So yeah,
Awesome.
there was just a lot to recap, but it was great.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And you know what? I'm glad that the Lord showed up because, I tell people all the time that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Well, you all made the preparation for the event. That was the step to take you down this 1,000-mile journey.
Yeah,
And when you started making your steps, then God said, okay, you've done your part. I see you're serious. Let me take it from here and let me be a blessing not only to you, but all
yeah,
the people that are involved in it. And that's just how God works. I mean, it's amazing on what he does and how he shows up and shows out. And as you mentioned, he will destroy whatever plans that you have, but he does it for the
yeah,
good that he might get the glory. And so I'm glad that you
absolutely.
had a wonderful weekend. And
Yeah,
again, welcome home and welcome back to Shop Talk.
thank you.
Absolutely. Listen, we've got a lot of stuff to cover today, and for those of you who are joining, I'm going to say it a few times a day. For you're joining, thank you for joining. Thank you for being with us. Those of you who are tuning in live on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for hanging out with us. Again, I want to mention that we are moving. Normally, we do live shows on Tuesday, but starting November 13th, we are moving to Wednesday. Again, same time of 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, but we'll just do it on a different day. All right, y'all, let's keep things going and let's really quick move into a couple of segments that I have. One in particular is today's National Day. And I only have three. But today, as we've been talking through the month of October, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we at my church got a chance to celebrate and talk about that on this past Sunday. The choir wore pink and others wore red because I think it's National Heart Month as well. And so, we took a moment to make sure that we commemorate, talk about, be thankful for those who have that have survived breast cancer, and even had thoughts of those who may have succumbed to breast cancer. We don't never want to forget those who have gone on before us. So again, this is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I just wanted to make mention of it one more time. All right. Secondly, this is going to be funny because today is National Color Day. Let me
Okay.
explain. Let me explain. Let me explain. National Color Day, meaning that like me, I normally wear black pretty much all the time. I'm always in something black, thinking that it's going to make me look thinner when I just really need to go to the gym and get on the treadmill and see what happens. But nonetheless, today is National Color Day, where you should wear other colors beyond black or white. So I have a splash of red on today as my splash of color. And as you can see, Yolanda Morant does not have on black. She has on a wonderful color.
Team.
Wait, absolute. Wait, you have an Apple Watch?
Don't do that. I do go to the Apostolic Church, amen. But this is not an Apple Watch. This is a
Oh,
watch that came from the good old Amazon children.
yeah.
Thank you, Amazon. We
Amazon
love you
children.
so
That's
much.
funny. Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
find a new name for Amazon. So from Amazon, and it was so I could track my fitness, so I could encourage myself to do what I'm supposed to do.
See,
Right. So, but I
I'm
will
with you.
take hello, all the listeners out there. I will take your donations if you want to sew into my life, man, for an a good old Apple Watch and the app and the iPods, man. Thank you so
You
much.
know what? So the funny thing you mentioned that, when I'm gonna get right back to that. Let me just mention really quick that Tracy J. Wilson mentioned that she is a
Yes.
survivor of breast cancer. I did not know that, Tracy. I'm glad to know that. And yeah, I'm gonna always mention things that are prevalent and definitely things that we need to know and talk about. So thank you for sharing that. Now, Yolanda, I don't know if you were on the show. You may not have been a part of the team at this point, but a few years back, we had a clarion call, just like what you just made. Ashton was on the show, and somehow or another, we started talking about Apple products and the fact that she didn't have an Apple Watch, and she wanted to be able to track her movement and be able to do things to lose weight. And somehow, live on the show, we were able to raise enough funds for
No
Ashton to
way.
go to the Apple store and purchase an Apple Watch. I remember her.
That's how
She
cool
she
is
did
that?
a She did a big video about it. She took a video, did a video going into this Apple store, making her purchase, coming out, putting it on, syncing it to her device. It was a big thing. One of those particular situations that I will never forget. So you never know. We never know what may happen for you. So I heard you mention. I heard you mention that you're trying to get an Apple Watch and AirPods.
Yeah. So let's just talk about it, amen. And then we can move on to other subjects. So this is the thing. Demetrius was very kind. Freedom Radio was very kind, and they sold into my life for AirPod Pros. And I was doing one reason why, to be honest with you, why I didn't want any is because I was afraid I was going to lose them, right? But sometimes I'll put a little Jesus in there. Sometimes your fear can, make you mess up. So I was doing really good, actually, for quite a while. And I was in the mall, and I had them in my pockets, in my I Love pockets. So they were deep in my pocket. And I was in the mall, and I was feeling good. I was having a great day, and I went to Bath and Body. I was having a great day. And I was sitting in the food court, probably having the Jesus meal of Chick-fil-A. And this is the truth. I was actually, are y'all there? Okay, sorry. So
I got you.
I was very, very sad, actually. I couldn't believe how sad I was about a technology. I was so sad. And I looked up and down the mall, and I probably gained like 20,000 steps. I looked up and down the mall. I kept searching. I could track them, but I could not find them, right? And then when my friends was like, oh, they probably stole them. And then I just gave up.
Yeah.
I just said, it's okay. I just gave up.
I'm with you.
This thing, every time I go back to the mall, they still beep again.
Really?
They're there. Yeah, like every time I go to the mall, they still they pick up again. They're there somewhere. But wow. I just gave up.
AirPods are definitely, as you can tell, I'm using some. These are the 3rd generation AirPods. I have every generation that there is, except for the new ones. There's now a generation 4 that I plan to hope to get before the year's out. We'll see what happens. But anyway.
No, but why don't they have things? Why don't they have them so they can sit in your ear and then they come up over your ear, right? For people who are walking, running. I think that was my thought. Like, why don't they just come like that? I'm sure there's attachments and stuff, but I just feel like that part should come with it. Like there should be an option for that. And you can just put it over your ear, right? And then you can be settled.
Well, yes, you're right. There are third-party attachments available on the Amazon Children, as you call them. And there are places where you can buy third-party attachments, but Apple as a company tends to like them to look like this. I see you, David Jones, who says that he uses the Beats, which are also Apple products as well. I'm sure you knew that, Yolanda. Just to give the quick synopsis of that number, we're going to move on. Many Beats by Dre, they're just called Beats now, but at one point they were called Beats by Dre. 2 people that put them together, Dr. Dre, and I forgot the other guy who used to be his manager that was a part of that. Apple decided they wanted to buy them, bought them for $3 billion. Paid $3 billion for the Beats brand a few years ago, ultimately making Dr. Dre a billionaire. And so, so that's one of those ideas. My wife keeps telling me that there is some sort of a $1 billion idea in my head. I agree with her. It just hasn't come to fruition yet, but we're going to keep working on it and keep making things happen. Anyway, let's keep going with today's National Day. Now, we already talked about Color Day, meaning that you should wear colors other than black or white today. Last but not least, for today is National. Watch this one. This made me laugh. But today is National Scar Appreciation Day. Scar Appreciation Day. Yeah, if you're like me, last year I had a surgery for the first time of this nature, and I have a permanent scar on my knee. I also have a permanent scar on a couple other places where I've fallen down and I couldn't get up, and I had to make things happen. But Today, I'm going to take some time to appreciate it. I'm going to put some cocoa butter on it. I'm going to maybe finally post a picture and maybe talk about it because I never really talked about it. But today is National Scar Day. So anyway, Scar Appreciation Day. Anyway, that's all I have for the National Day. Interesting things as well. Anyway, let's keep things going. And before we go any further, let's get ready to bring up our next co-host out now in the city of Hercules, California. My guy, always making things happen, always saying something that will make you laugh and keep you upbeat. He is on with us today. If you get off the freeway in Hercules, make a couple rights, then go up around, make a left, knock on the door, tap on the window pane. This young man might be the one that opens the door, and that is the one and only Jacory Prothro. Jacory is in the building. Man, what is going on?
Oh, look at your neighbor and say, I still have my Sunday morning voice. Excuse me. You know what? Jesus swept through each service that I was in this week, and I got to recover because I think I was calling his name because I really need him. Woo! Bless the Lord. But I'm here.
I cannot. Well, I'm glad to see you, man.
Oh,
welcome to the show.
Is this the color?
That may work. That color may work. Yeah. We're gonna have to hook up. I'll have to FaceTime you with the suit in my hand. But yeah, so those of you, if those of you may not know, I reached out to Jacory while he was holding those beads up. Is I'm preparing to go out of town in a couple of weeks, and with all of my outfits, I always take Jacory with me everywhere I go. Yeah. Everywhere I go, I take Liquid Love with me everywhere I go because I have a ton. If I had time to go to the drawer, I'd show you. My drawer is right here. I have a ton of bracelets, beads that Jacory has made specifically for me. And listen, I don't want you to be jealous. I don't want you to feel left out. So if there is some beads that you feel like you need a particular color or a particular design that you are looking for or that you need done for some outfits that you have, reach out to Jacory. He will make it happen. He'll send them to you in the mail, or you can come meet him if you're local, make things happen. But he makes some incredible stuff. Matter of fact, you have anything right there you can show us? Or I know you got the
I just went and found some colors for you, but I do want to shout out, since we're right here, I was working in the studio with Carl Wheeler last week and James Pugh, and they had me in there singing and making stuff on the spot. So just hit me in my DMs with the colors you need, be it male or female, and we'll get some liquid arm candy for your arm.
That's good stuff, man. I like it. So I while you was talking, I was able to go to my drawer. Let me I gotta turn the blur off. So give me a second. Let me turn this blur off because you guys need to see what all that this young man can do and has done for me. So turn off the blur, Dito. None. There we go. Let me show y'all something. I've got this he's made. Look at this here. This is the Lord's doing. This right here. This is Icono. I just needed gray. The Lord blessed us. Then when I started saying that I needed blue, look what the Lord has done. And then I said, I got a green suit. You do? Well, let me help you out. I got all these different beads of different colors, different shades, different sizes, black and red and burgundy and all kinds of stuff. Listen, don't let me be the only one out here rocking, making things happen. If you want to get into the beads game, don't leave me by myself. Come on, reach out to Jacory. You can hit him up on Instagram at Jacory Prothro. Again, at Jacory Prothro, and you can make things happen and be able to have stuff for your wrists as well. All right, y'all. Let's keep things going. We're going to bring up our next co-host out in, I believe, in the ATL, I believe. I could be wrong, but we'll find out in a minute. But let's bring him up without further ado. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I was going to not do it, but I'm going to do it because he's the only person on the show that has his own theme music. So, we got to get ready. Hey. Yeah, those of you who are familiar with the great show BMF, I hope it's coming back soon. This is my guy coming up. He says that he is our big meat. Let's bring him up. Demetrius Hunter in the building. Man, what's going on? welcome to today's show.
Well, hello, good afternoon, good day, good morning, good evening, hallelujah morning, everybody out there in the Shop Talk land zone. Welcome to another great edition of Shop Talk. I'm your boy, Just Meechy, not Big Meech, Just Meech, the original Meech. Yeah, welcome in. Let's have a show, guys. Come on in. Come on in. I don't know why I look so dark. I look like I'm sitting over in my like I look 5 shades darker.
It's okay. We gonna make things
No,
happen,
that's
man.
not,
We gonna keep things
no,
going.
that's not okay. I ain't that black.
We gonna fix it. We gonna fix it. We gonna make things happen. All right, y'all. As you can see, as I fix this one, let me fix this because I want everybody to be able to do this. So as you now see, we have our names on the screen, so you know who is who as well. Everyone has their Instagram available. So please, ma'am, please, sir, make sure that you follow each of us. We do this all the time, and we want to just talk a little bit about that and make things happen. All right, y'all. What's going on to my guy Rodney Harris in the building? He said, "What's my guy's name tag handle to reach out for the beads?" It is, as you can see now, Rodney. It is at Ja'Cory Prothro down in the bottom at Ja'Cory Prothro. You should be able to.
Why I got no ad under my name?
Because you do yours differently. Well, that's fixing.
Well, I mean, was I supposed to put the app there? I don't know. I didn't get an instruction manual. I just put they just told me to put my name.
It's all good. That's why I'm here to help make things happen and fix it. Anyway, y'all, let's get ready to jump further into today's show. And I want to start by talking about the mere fact that we are 2 weeks away from Election Day. 2 weeks away from Election Day. I've mentioned this several times that this, in my opinion, is one of the most important elections of our time. I know that we talked about that in 2004. I believe that's when it was, when 2008 maybe, when Obama was originally elected. But this right here to me is just as, if not more important of an election as we get ready to elect a brand new president come November the 5th. And I've been keeping up with the news. I've been keeping up with the news. I'm a little, I don't want to say nervous, but I'm a little concerned because I've been seeing different people that look like us that are saying that they're not ready to go in that direction of Democratic voting this year for whatever reason. I mean, I don't have time to go down the whole list of why people are not going in that way. But my brothers, my sisters who are listening, I am not a politician in any kind of way. But let me tell you, things will be completely different if we re-elect the Republican candidate. Things are going to be completely different that are not going to work to our benefit if we vote Republican or if we put the Republican candidate in our White House. I don't even want to mention his name. So, but the Republican candidate that was
orange guy.
Yeah, him that was just found. He's doing everything he can to try to win over these votes. I've seen him recently working at a McDonald's, trying to sway people to vote in his direction. Ja'Cory, is that your ballot I just saw you pull out? Yeah.
So you did that's my question is this. So because of this, with this election, as far as early voting and mail ballot, how comfortable are you guys with going that route as far as doing the early voting or even the mail ballots? Because I'm actually not going to do the mail ballot this year because I just don't. I don't know. Maybe because I'm in Georgia. Because in California, I've done the mail ballots. But Georgia, I just don't trust it. I do not trust them. I prefer to go in and make sure it's accounted for. But then again, you guys are in California, something different. But I just don't trust the mail ballots in certain election processes.
I'm gonna say it this way. And all you do, you're gonna have to put prayer with it. I've been doing a mail ballot for a while because when I would go to the actual polls, it was more drama. They couldn't find my name. I had to sign up this way. So since this came with my name on it, it's already filled out in Jesus' name. But some of these measures, let me just say this. Some of these measures, the reason I did it this way, I still may go in. I haven't made my whole decision yet, but you really got to read this thing because some of the way some of these Prop 36 and Prop 35 is written, it'll have you confused. Just like, sometimes when you're reading the word, you need to get a different version. With some of these, my church actually sat down yesterday and they had a whole Zoom because there's reasonings on both sides that you have to understand. There's different stories and that people have went through on both sides to where you need a clear understanding of how to vote yay and then or nay. So you got to spend some time with it like it's the SATs.
Almost definitely. You got to know what you're voting. Definitely got to know what you're voting. And I think the problem is, especially with the generation next, the people that are just now 18 able to vote between the ages of 18 and 25, they just kind of go with what is popular. We're living in such a social media age and such a go with the flow age. Is kind of hard to really get people to listen. And that's a good point that Ja'Cory's church actually took part in that. I actually am glad that a lot of churches have actually stepped in. I know some people look at this scripture, you're supposed to separate state from church. Got it. However, sometimes the church is the only place we can reach people. So sometimes that's the only time you can actually talk to them and get them to understand exactly what is going on. So definitely want to, that's a good approach. Our church has been working on this thing very, very hard. Shout out to Bishop Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant. That's not my pastor, but definitely Kamala was in the house on Sunday morning. I call myself to leave my church to run over there because I had to go support my godson and then run over there. And if I tell you, I mean, I could have just went ahead and it was, the traffic was ridiculous. You couldn't even get in. Basically, once the service has started, they weren't letting anybody in the building. They were only letting you out.
Wow.
Once Kamala was in there.
Yeah, my memory serves me right. Was it Sunday her birthday as well?
Sunday was also her birthday. Good thing I was with some people that know some people, and I ain't gonna say who came and let us in. I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but we was able to get in. And so I got there in time. She was just finishing up everything, so I didn't really get much to capture. But just to be in that room, the feeling of being in the room with somebody that's about to possibly become the next president. I've never been in the room with Obama. I've never been in the room with Clinton. I've never been in the room with Biden. I've never been in the room with any of these people, but just to be in that room and just to see us as a people, just, support. I mean, I don't know what New Birth is like on a given Sunday, but that particular Sunday, there was not a seat in the house. Yeah. I didn't even know. I heard word of mouth that she was coming. It was very kind of slick with it, I guess you can kind of say. I guess only members really knew. But it definitely, definitely shouts out to him. Kamala came out. And that's, right now, I'm just confused because when it comes to us, we still got those.
I feel you.
HNs running around the earth. We still got the HNs.
Well, I mean, here is the thing. Here is the thing. Is Ja'Cory and Yolanda. My thought is, again, this is a very, very important election. First of all, if you're registered to vote, please, ma'am, please, sir, vote. Now, again, I can't tell you who to vote for. I can just tell you who I'm voting for. But this whole thing is very, very important. We're 2 weeks away, and no one can say that either one of them is a clear winner. I mean, it's really going to be a close race from what I can see in here. Yolanda, I mean, I don't know how the temperature is in North Carolina, but are your churches talking about it, or is the community talking about voting? What are we looking at? I think you're muted or something. I can't hear you. You did something.
Yeah, hear me now? Okay, so I'm not from here, right? So in truth, I'm always, transparent. I don't always know the climate here, about like the people, the city, what I'm saying? It's just a constant figuring out. But I will say, I go to Life Center Church, Pastor Brian Moore, and every Sunday, my pastor has been highly encouraging. At the top of the service, in the middle, at the end, he turned the cameras off. So I wasn't here last Sunday. So the Sunday before that, he turned the cameras off. Amen. Thank you for tuning in. And he said, "Now listen, I'm very serious. This is not a game." And he's been really, what I really appreciate is he's been really, if I can say this, I get in trouble. He's been really helping people to understand, don't vote for someone because you think they are a believer. You need to vote for them based on character, based on, he's not encouraging people to go one way or the other, right? Because
Yeah.
he knows that's not his right, but definitely to make a wise decision. So I'll say this without, I was with some people this weekend, and one of the people we were with, or somebody I saw, they said, "I'm not going to vote at all." Because why does it matter? And I thought to myself, that makes me feel like we don't feel our voice matters. We don't feel like we count. That might be a deeper thing going on, just individually, but we don't feel like our voice matters or doesn't count. And so I recited something my pastor said, that voting, not voting, is voting. When you don't vote, you voted. So I just want to encourage people, and I get it. Let me say this. I'm just saying me, not them, okay? I'm not a politic girl. I don't know all the terms and conditions. I don't know this and this. What I do know for sure is this is always my push, that my ancestors, my great-great-great-grandmother stood in line so I could have this right to stand in line.
Yeah.
Maybe for someone that's all I need. Someone died so I could have the choice to stand in line, not based on my color, but based just because I'm a human being.
Absolutely.
And vote, right? So I get it. And something Demetrius said that I slightly disagree with. I think this generation, while they are more influenced by social media and stuff like that, I do think there are those that actually are more in tune than my generation was. There's more information available for them to know what's going on. And again, I agree totally. Big shout out. I love New Birth, and totally big shout out to New Birth who had Kamala there. And I thought it was so big of that. I mean, now first of all, this is who Jamal's always been, but I thought it was so big. All the ladies wore pink, and they celebrated her. They sang happy birthday to her. She spoke. They prayed over her. Again, this is who he's always been. But I mean, for a lot of us, this is the direction we're leaning. But I just want to encourage you to please vote. Like don't feel like that your voice doesn't matter because you may not be this person or that person. Don't feel like that. Your voice matters, and it counts. And again, not voting is voting. Not making the decision is making the decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I like that. And Jacory brings up a point that he just mentioned in chat, and that there's so much to vote for besides the presidency. Yes, the presidency is very important for the national level, but there are other things that we have to think about. Some people
Yes.
are voting for governors. Some people are voting for mayors. There are so many different propositions that are out there. So do your due diligence, do your research, do your studying. Take a look at, and don't just depend on the commercials that you see on TV to sway you one way or another. Please, ma'am, please, sir, do your due diligence and be able to make a conscious decision when you go out to vote. Again, we are just 2 weeks away, and I hope and pray that you do just like Jacory is doing, taking time to pick the candidates and the propositions and the mayoral candidates and all of these things that you want to be able to represent you moving forward.
Can I add one thought? Something you just said.
Yes.
And I am picking off my pastor something he said. But when I was coming home last night, and I was going to the mailbox, and my mailbox was full of all of this and him that and da 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 and da 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 and this is the truth. It's all devised to sway you. And so you have to do your diligence. So if you're reading X, Y, and Z blog, and that's where you get your tea, that does not mean that's where the truth is, right? You have to get your truth from truth places that are just giving truth. They're not swayed, right? So that's really, really important that you're just not. I mean, again, you getting some in the mail. They're doing what they do, right? They're gonna slander. They're gonna cheat. You have to get your information from good sources so you can make a good decision.
And before you end there, let me just shout out Chanel Scales Preston in the Contra Costa area. I actually know this lady and have been in her presence. And my thing is, when you're dealing with your supervisors and your council people, if you don't see them in the community actually making movement with just the regular people, then that means they ain't ready for the job. So you got to do some homework, look up some of these names, and look at, you need to do some studying before you go to the polls. So just be ready. Make sure you vote.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Again, 2 weeks away. We'll talk about it again next week and potentially the day of as well if we are able to. But yeah, make sure you get out and vote and make things happen. Let your voice be heard because it is important. All right, y'all, we're going to keep things going. Ja'Cory, you was just at an event. We talked about Yolanda's weekend at the top of the show, but you, sir, got a chance to attend an event over the weekend on this past Saturday that I thought I was going to get to, but I just can't be everywhere at the same time. But incredible event celebrating the church anniversary of Love Center Ministries. How many years is it now?
Oh, Jesus. Michi probably knows. I have to find the flyer.
I don't think it's 59, but I thought I saw some sort of 9 in there. But anyway.
Lord Bishop, forgive me. Please, Lord.
Lord have mercy.
I can't remember.
52.
I lost count after 40.
Okay, 52 years. So they celebrated. They're in the celebration season of 52 years of ministry in the city of Oakland. Started many years ago back on MacArthur Street and 89th Avenue. I'm old enough to know this. They started on 89th Avenue in MacArthur, around the corner from where I grew up in Oakland, and they moved from different places to further down on MacArthur, and then they moved to Concordia High School and all kind of places where they've been. But now they have found a home on East 14th and about 105th Avenue somewhere around there.
10400 International Boulevard.
That is it. I still call it East 14th. My fault. Anyway, a great celebration happened in a musical format over the weekend that Ja'Cory got a chance to go to. And so tell us a little bit about what you experienced over the weekend, Ja'Cory.
Let me just say that I was a kid that used to get in trouble going over to Love Center because, you know, Love Center, Walter Hawkins Ministry was the staple for not only music, but fashion and great people. So this was, it was a sacrifice for me. Shout out to my mother that just had surgery. I had to take care of her. I was a little late, but I was also very disappointed that I didn't see a lot of people. But Lawrence Matthews, Lena Bird Miles, and Lady Lynette Hawkins, I mean, the wisdom that she just spews from her lips. It was a wonderful time. It was great. Lawrence created me a clean heart. Savior, do not pass me by. And then we had Stella Award winner Lena Bird, that's like everybody's cousin. It was dynamite. But I do want to stay right here and here. I think we really need to figure out how we get people. I know we want the church without walls, but we actually need a church with people in them. So I think the body of Christ needs to figure out how we're going to get the people that we know are outside the walls of the church to come into the church, because if not, we're about to start losing some territory. Because this is the second event that I've been to in the Bay Area. Last week was Brent Jones, and he delivered. He did what he was supposed to do, but there was only 20 people in the sanctuary. So the church, it's time for us to do some work. I know that COVID came through and kind of stripped us to where we're split. But if we don't actually start making some movement, doing some talking, doing some conversation, the way I look at it, it's like, well, what's the need? Especially what's the need for your building if it's just sitting here and we turning the lights on and off and ain't nobody in the room. We could do that over the phone.
Yeah.
But the event was great.
Amen.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Demetrius. I saw your hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even. But no, Corey made a very interesting point. But the thing about it is, I've noticed it even getting to that point before I even left in 2017. It just kind of seemed like the Bay Area, Northern California gospel music scene was kind of, let me be my reality, becoming kind of divided. Kind of, you know, this ain't my friend, this ain't my crew. This it's so much entangled into the Bay Area. And what really bothers me the most about the Bay Area is it is so many music greats that have come out of that. To where why do we continue to have these centuries before the next great? I mean, before Lena Bird, the last person we had before Lena Bird, you know, hit that national stage, we had Lawrence Matthews. Before Lawrence Matthews hit the national stage, in between there, we had the Hawkins. But we've also had Daryl Coley. The Crouches are also from California.
Mary
is from California. Mary is from California. Even though there's northern and there's southern and there's a 4 to 5 hour difference, my problem is when I go to New York, one thing about New York is if you can bring that sound that we're looking for, we're going to back you. One thing about Vincent Bohannon's choir, I've been to his church. That's just a church choir. Please understand me. That's not a community choir of people that come to. This is his sanctuary choir. Youth for Praise, this is their sanctuary choir. Why? Because the artists in those cities get behind them, and when they see talent and purpose, they get behind them and push and do what they can to get them to that level. Now they're mindful because everybody can't carry the baton that you hand them, and sometimes some people get it handed to them a little too early. I just had this conversation because I felt there were some things I was handed too early. But however, you know, I'm just keeping it real. I was saying because I didn't stay consistent. There's a church in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, called Wells Memorial Church of God in Christ. There's a woman there named Yvonne Smith. She was known not only in the church, but through the city, through the church district, through everything. And when she became ill and could no longer lead, she pulled me to step in and be that music director in her place. Met with the board and everything like that. I had never been a choir director. I've sung in choirs. I may have directed here and there, but as full music director. But I was so excited and wanted to be a part of the church. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was my time because I didn't stay consistent with it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, sometimes people get in places that are just a little too early. But the Bay Area, y'all have got to do something. I don't know what it is.
Me either,
y'all don't come out. The people don't come out. Y'all don't
Dito got to start a group so I can sing.
Well, here's the thing.
That's the funny thing because I've always been like, why am I not in a group that's doing something?
Shakori, right now in the Bay Area, though, let me tell you, when I was introduced to the Bay Area music scene, I was about 15, 14 years old when I went to my first musical. I went with Huey them. And As One had to sing. That's the first time I ever heard Dito, Demetrius. It was Ernest Larkins, Erica, and Alfreda. All of them was up there, and I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, my God. I became so fascinated. I had to know, like, who is this that's singing like this? And then I'm like, okay, his name is Demetrius. I'm like, okay. I was like, yeah, let me follow him. Maybe I can learn some stuff from him. You know what I'm saying? I learned different things from him, you know, his swag. Now, you know, our swag is a little different, but I felt the swag. But at the end of the day, I ran because I wanted to from SAC to there, and then started seeing them come from the Bay Area to SAC. Like, what happened? Because we used to do this. Bay Areas, like, we did this. It was never this, because that's what it looks like now. And Sacramento, they be packing the musicals out. I mean, the Sacramento people come out now. The Bay Area people don't start to stand on. I'm confused.
I was wondering if they died.
I
don't think they died. It's just so much. Sometimes there's so much going on. I know Raina Stevens Crawford tried to put together a Bay Area events calendar, which I still think that we need because people were booking major events with artists from out of town on the same day, in the same region, and trying to when you split people up like that, and then when everything is now streamed or Facebook Live or whatever, why do I need to get dressed and go? I could just tune in and enjoy it and watch it on social media. So I think all of those things have some things to do with it. Yolanda, I'll let you close this out. You have something you want to say?
Can I offer a thought? I know I'm not from your city, but what you just explained, I thought only happens in Denver. And it obviously happens in other places. I'm serious. Everything y'all just said was one of the things that we wanted to help with, right? So one thing we just honestly ran into, there people doing things on top of each other, the city being split. So this is my very short answer. When we were getting history about the city, I was telling the gentleman that I didn't remember as a kid feeling separated. So I grew up in a Baptist Costal church, which was around the corner from a Kojic church, which was split. Yeah, it's like this split, right? So I grew up in a Baptist Costal church. It was around the corner from a Kojic church. It was up the street from an AME church. Around the corner was a Methodist church, but we all fellowship together. There were no separations. You had musicals, and everybody came together, and nobody cared about what quote unquote denomination you came from, what stuff like that. But I think as time grows, I hope I say this right, people's agendas change, people's purposes change. And sometimes people get lost. Yeah. And so I would encourage that, maybe you don't have to do what I did, but maybe you all for real, like come together, put something together, pray it out, think it out, and do something to bring people back together in your city. Your city's lost a lot, from the Walter Hoggers and things of that nature. And sometimes it really affects people. And so, and I think sometimes people don't know what to do. And a lot of things that happen in my city where people that were made a lot of promises that were broken. And they were broken repetitively. And so people just say, I'm good. We found people. There was a gentleman that came to the event that had not been to church in 20 years. When I say come to church, he had not even been in the building at all. Yeah. So I think sometimes people just need a safe space to breathe again, to be restored. And maybe that's something you all should consider.
I receive that.
Well, I think that's what it is.
My take. Here's my take on it, and I'm gonna be a little more down to earth. I won't try to be all econ shit. I'm gonna be a little more down to earth on it.
I know.
And that is, I'll use me as an example. Technically, I don't live in the Bay any longer. Most people commute to work Monday through Friday. Saturday is their maintenance day, haircut, hair done, nails done, whatever it is they do. And then Sunday, they got to go to church, if they go to church. So if they're going to get any type of rest or a downtime, if it's not Sunday, then Saturday is the day, hey, I gotta get ready for church tomorrow. I'm not going to go to the Bay tonight, then got to go right back to the Bay tomorrow for church or whatever. I think that could be part of it too. The geographics of where people, or the demographics of where people are now living has changed for many, many people. I used to live as far as in Elk Grove, and to try to go from Elk Grove to Bay Area events on a Saturday, Friday, those things was near impossible. Demetrius.
Dito, I used to think that same thing until Jill Scott came to the Bay Area one time, and the church people packed her out on the ground floor where her tickets started at $240 each.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
We were 50% of the ground floor on a Saturday night. Her concert started the doors open at 6. Concert started at 7. We have musicals that start at 8. I was right there with you in that same thought process. Well, maybe. But when I started going to events like Jill Scott's and, other concert events, and I'm like, well, we coming out any other Saturday and we paying to do this, but we can't get y'all to come to a free musical and support.
Yeah.
But honestly, even taking it beyond that, we're missing the foundation, the structure. If you go to the school where I've been working, I'm like at the point to where I'm like, I don't want to live to be 100, because if this is what's going to become rising up, no, like for real. There is no foundation with the children, the school, generation X, Y, Z, D, and whatever numbers is coming up next. We got all of that by going to church. The church was our strength. So what do we do to regain that reach and that strength.
Just talking
Even
about-
with the vote. I mean, it's all connected at the end of the day. You're going to use the church to die to leave up out of here, but you won't come to the church in living.
That's true. Well, one problem, Jacory, with that is we got grandparents our age. We didn't grow up with grandparents my mama age.
Nope.
Nowadays, we got grandparents our age, and grandparents our age ain't trying to be grandparents. They still trying to be young and fly.
Yeah.
And so you're definitely right. That whole culture that we were taught, a lot of things that we were taught, parents now just send the kids to school, and if the school not teaching them, then they're not getting it.
Nope. And they blame the school.
Yeah.
And they're running.
Thank you.
They're running the school and the teachers. Because I was just like, oh, hold up. Everybody sit down. Is everybody in the school got A, D, C, D, E, F? Everybody got a 3-digit? Or you just ain't got whooped and you ain't got no training at home? And I don't have no kids, but there's a proper respect level that should come from a child.
Of course.
Foundation, we got all of this at church and at home. And that's what's missing.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with it. Well, listen, I just want to getting ready to close out. I'm looking up at the clock. And we're not out of time. We're not out of conversation, as you always know. We always got something to talk about, but we are really just running out of time. But before we go, just 2 things I want to mention. Those of you who are sports enthusiasts, the NBA season starts tonight. NBA season starts tonight. A couple of games are on TV tonight. So those of you who may want to take a look at that. Also, the World Series, those of you who keep up with baseball, starts this coming Friday between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. And then last but not least, those of you who are in the Bay Area, don't forget next Friday is when the Bay Area gets to have the reunion tour come to our area, Oakland, California. The reunion tour will be with us on next Friday, November the 1st. I have my tickets. Hopefully you have yours. I look forward to seeing so many of you on that day. Demetrius says he has a closing comment and final remark for us. So Demetrius, man, the virtual floor is yours. You muted yourself.
Huh?
Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay, I didn't think you was going to see that in time. Well, I just want to listen. I've learned this little thing that when you look for God in everything, you'll find God in everything. And so I was recently taught and learned that one thing about a rhinoceros is they can never walk backwards. They can only walk forward. So I just want to encourage you as you're going through this week to have that mindset of the rhinoceros. And remember, you can't walk backwards. The only thing you can do is walk forward. So continue to move forward in your week, continue to move forward in your life, and continue to move forward in your purpose and your goals. Have a blessed week, everybody.
I love it. That's good stuff. That's so good. I'm going to allow it to be our closing comment. Listen, on behalf of myself, Demetrius Tollfree, Yolanda Morant in Charlotte, North Carolina, Jacory Profro in Hercules of California, Demetrius Hunter out in Atlanta, Georgia. Till the next time on this same Shop Talk Network at this same Shop Talk time. You know how we do it. You can help us say it. I'll holla.